On the morning of January 15, 1947, Betty Bersinger was walking with her young daughter along a quiet street in Los Angeles' Leimert Park neighborhood. Just a few feet from the sidewalk, she noticed something posed in the grass. At first, she thought it was a discarded mannequin, but as she drew closer, the horrifying truth became clear. It was the mutilated body of a young woman, cut cleanly in half at the waist. The woman's body was posed in the grass, cut cleanly in half at the waist. Her mouth had been slashed 3 inches on both sides, forming a grotesque, unnatural smile. Deep lacerations marred her face, and strangulation marks were visible on her neck, with rope marks on her wrists and ankles, indicating she had been bound. Strangely, there was no blood at the scene, confirming the gruesome conclusion that she had been killed elsewhere. There was no jewelry, no clothing, and no personal belongings near the body. When the coroner's deputies arrived to remove the body, they discovered the grass underneath was still damp with dew. This detail implied that the body was positioned there after dawn, but before the neighborhood woke up. Authorities immediately launched an investigation, covering the area from Washington to 54th Street and from Main Street to the city limits. Police officers spoke with anyone who might have seen or heard something, but no one could provide any meaningful information. Storm drains and alleys were scoured for women's clothing or personal items, but every lead ended in frustration. The victim was soon identified as ElizabethShort, a 22-year-old woman from Boston, Massachusetts. Born on July 29, 1924, in the Hyde Park neighborhood, Elizabeth was the third of 5 daughters of Cleo Alvin Short Jr. and Phoebe May Sawyer. She had moved to California in search of a better life and had dreams of making it in Hollywood, but those aspirations were tragically cut short. Dubbed the Black Dahlia by the press, Elizabeth's case quickly captured national attention. Her mysterious murder, her Hollywood ambitions, and the brutality of the crime turned her into a tragic figure and a symbol of unfulfilled dreams. Some sources claim that the nickname was coined by staff and patrons at a Long Beach drugstore in mid-1946, who called her the Black Dahlia after noticing her striking appearance, which resembled the dark, mysterious tone of the 1946 film, The Blue Dahlia. However, the FBI's official website states that the press gave her the first part of the nickname due to her rumored fondness for wearing black clothing. The investigation brought in suspects from all walks of life, but despite the exhaustive efforts of the Los Angeles Police Department and the FBI, no one was ever charged. Leads would emerge and fizzle, clothing would be tested and dismissed, and potential witnesses would fail to provide any significant breakthroughs. On January 24, 1947, a manila envelope addressed to the Los Angeles Examiner and other Los Angeles papers was found, containing a letter made from cutout newspaper clippings that read, "Here is Dahlia's belongings." Inside were Short's birth certificate, business cards, photographs, and an address book, all cleaned with gasoline, similar to how her body had been. This led authorities to believe the killer sent the letter. Police contacted about 75 men from her address book, but most had only brief interactions with her. Suspecting the killer might have medical knowledge due to the precise cuts on her body, they searched the nearby USC Medical School, but found no solid leads. Several suspects have emerged over the years in connection with the Black Dahlia murder. Robert Manley, the last known person to see ElizabethShort alive, was initially considered a suspect, but was cleared after passing 2 polygraph tests. Mark Hansen, a Hollywood nightclub manager, had connections to Short and was mentioned in her address book, but there was no definitive proof linking him to the crime. George Hodel, a former doctor, gained attention after his son, a retired LAPD detective, suggested in a book that Hodel was responsible, though his claims were disputed. Other suspects included Jack Anderson Wilson, an alcoholic drifter who allegedly knew details about the murder, and Dr. Walter Alonzo Bailey, a surgeon who lived near where Short's body was found, but no evidence definitively tied any of these men to the crime. Despite years of investigation and many suspects, the identity of the Black Dahlia killer remains unknown. Even today, Elizabeth Short's story continues to haunt the city, a reminder of a life taken too soon and a mystery that has never been solved. The most unsettling thought is that the killer may have walked among us all these years, perhaps even passing unnoticed, and by now, he may be dead. But how many others did he take with him? A maniac who got away with murder, leaving us to wonder if his shadow still lingers in the streets.